No, he agreed. He kept his word on that. It's a lot. 1 week is, we'll take anything.
Putin kept his word. Trump dismisses Zelensky's Russia ceasefire claims. Energy truce was tactical move. RSW explains Kremlin strategy and about unexpected progress possible in Ukraine negotiations. The latest news next. US President Donald Trump sided with Russia in a dispute with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky over the ceasefire, stating that no agreement had been violated, according to a statement by Donald Trump at the White House. The US President said that the week-long pause in strikes on Ukrainian's energy infrastructure, which he personally requested from Russian dictator Vladimir Putin, officially ended on Sunday, December 1st. According to him, the temporary pause in Russian military attacks on Ukraine lasted from Sunday to Sunday, and Moscow adhered to these time frames.
On Ukraine, Mr. President, yesterday you were talking about how Vladimir Putin had agreed to a pause during the cold weather. Overnight, those attacks have started up again.
I know. It was Sunday to Sunday, and it opened up, and he hit him hard last night. No, he agreed. He kept his word on that. It's a lot. 1 week is, we'll take anything because it's really, really cold over there. But
additionally, the American president made it clear that he considered even such a short break satisfactory. He noted that in the harsh winter conditions, any ceasefire is a positive development. On the timing, Trump believes that 7 days without strikes is a significant result for the current phase of the war. On the humanitarian aspect, quote, "We will take anything because it's really, really cold there," he said, hinting at the critical situation in the energy sector. He also mentioned that he had spoken with Vladimir Putin but did not specify exactly when the conversation took place. Earlier, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed dissatisfaction that the pause in strikes lasted only 4 days. According to him, the proposal came from Trump, and he expects a response from the US regarding further actions. This is outrageous, absolutely outrageous. How can a US president stand in the White House and legitimize the words of a war criminal as if they mean something? How can Donald Trump look at Vladimir Putin, a man whose entire political existence is built on lies, terror, and destruction, and say with a straight face that he kept his word? That statement alone is an insult to reality, to history, and to every single person suffering because of Russia's war. Believing Putin, it is willful blindness. It is choosing to ignore mass graves, bomb cities, destroyed power plants, frozen civilians, and dead children in favor of a convenient narrative. A few days without strikes are not progress, when the same hand immediately resumes the violence. Praising a dictator for briefly pausing his brutality is like applauding an arsonist for stopping between fires. The bar is not low. It's buried underground. What's even more disturbing is the moral emptiness behind this stance. Framing a short pause as a humanitarian success while Ukraine continues to be attacked is grotesque. Ukrainians are not bargaining chips, and their survival is not a PR metric. Cold weather is not an argument for accepting lies. It's a reason to demand real protection, real pressure, and real accountability. Calling anything a victory just to claim a deal was made is cowardly leadership at best. This is not diplomacy. This is not realism. This is appeasement dressed up as pragmatism. When Trump takes Putin's word over Ukrainians' reality, he sends a chilling message to the world that aggression pays, that lies work, and that victims will be told to be grateful for scraps of mercy from their abuser. A US president should stand with those fighting for their right to exist, not with the dictator trying to erase them. History will not remember who smiled for cameras or declared a fake success. It will remember who chose truth and who chose comfort, and siding with Putin even verbally is choosing the wrong side of history. The Kremlin will likely try to present its alleged compliance with the energy truce as a significant concession to gain leverage in the next round of talks in Abu Dhabi, the Institute for the Study of War report says. Analysts are convinced that the massive combined forcing attack on the night of February 3rd only confirmed that Russia never intended to use the moratorium on energy strikes to de-escalate the war or to seriously advance the peace talks initiated by the United States. As noted by RSW, Russia has previously proposed short-term ceasefires to imitate interest in the peaceful settlement of the war, while repeatedly rejecting calls from Ukraine and the United States for a longer or permanent moratorium on long-range strikes or a ceasefire.
The Kremlin will likely attempt to portray its adherence to this short-term energy strikes moratorium as a significant concession to gain leverage in the upcoming peace talks, even though the Kremlin used these few days to stockpile missiles for a larger strike package.
At the same time, RSW emphasizes that this truce is not a significant concession by Russia, as Russian forces continued to strike Ukrainian logistics and infrastructure during the moratorium, simply shifting from one target to another. The Embassy of Ukraine has provided the US State Department with detailed information on all attacks that occurred since Russia agreed to an energy truce. Ambassador of Ukraine to the United States, Olha Bilan, said while speaking to the press on the sidelines of Ukrainian week in Washington, Suspilne reported.
The embassy today, February 3rd at Riri, provided the State Department with detailed information on all attacks that have taken place since the announcement of the so-called Russian agreement to a truce. Very detailed information was provided today following the overnight attack.
According to her, the information on Russian strikes was prepared in cooperation with the armed forces and the Ministry of Energy. Stefanishina is confident that these data will affect the negotiations as they undermine Russia's position. The ambassador hopes that the American side will choose an approach of fewer illusions, more pressure. The ambassador also said that the work of the Ukrainian delegation will primarily focus on lobbying in Congress for a bill on sanctions against countries that purchase Russian energy resources. At least 3 such bills have been registered in both chambers, and the embassy is urging them to be put to a vote. Attempts by the United States to accelerate the conclusion of an agreement between Russia and Ukraine could unintentionally create conditions for a new escalation of the conflict, according to The Telegraph. US President Donald Trump has sent his special envoy to Witkoff to a new round of talks in Abu Dhabi. The stated goal of the meetings is to reach any kind of agreement between Moscow and Kiev. At the same time, discussions are focused on territorial issues, specifically the status of parts of the Donetsk region that the Russian army has failed to capture during nearly 4 years of a full-scale invasion. About Kremlin interests, according to the publication, Vladimir Putin is seeking at the talks to obtain what he failed to achieve on the battlefield. But this is still not enough for Putin. He insists not only on keeping what he currently has, but also on getting more, the outlet notes. Experts warn that conceding these territories to Russia could create conditions for a new military campaign. Implications for Ukraine. The territories of the Donetsk region are strategically important due to dense defensive infrastructure around Kramatorsk and Slavyansk. Handing these positions over to the Kremlin could allow the Russian army to build up forces and plan a new invasion. At the same time, analysts believe that Trump and Witkoff are not fully taking into account Moscow's long-term objectives. About potential scenarios. If the Ukrainian side agrees to concessions, this would give Russia an opportunity to prepare for the next phase of the war. An alternative scenario, maintaining control over the territory, would require pressure on the Kremlin, including through arms, supplies and economic sanctions in order to limit Moscow's ambitions and prevent a renewed offensive. The United States needs to significantly increase pressure on the Kremlin, as Moscow has so far shown no readiness for genuine negotiations. One effective step could be the transfer of Tomahawk cruise missiles to Ukraine. US President Donald Trump has expressed the view that in the long term, the United Nations could take on a key role in resolving global conflicts, seeing it as an organization with the serious capabilities to prevent and end wars after his involvement in these processes. That's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. Support Ukraine, like and subscribe.